lip. So I heard someone's birthday over here.
Happy birthday, Larson! I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. After making a visit to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, which gave the Buzz Bars a chance to enjoy a special photo walkback, led by Park President Jeffrey Siebert, as well as multiple rides on their great coasters, there was another night of shenanigans back at the Party House and a day at SeaWorld San Antonio to wrap up yet another Stumble event before making the journey home. Much like the previous night before we had our Six Flags day, there were shenanigans that took place back at the Airbnb. Much of which centered around the continued dominance of Marcus and I in beer pong over everyone else, until we had a heartbreaking loss after an epic back and forth battle. The rest of the evening was pretty easygoing, as many of us hung out on the back patio. As everyone began to arrive to SeaWorld, many of us followed the same first steps we had in the original El Stumble, where we gave those who were visiting the first time a chance to get their Grover's Boxcar Derby ride, and some who already had it joined in on the fun. We followed that up with a ride on the hidden gem of SeaWorld in Steel Eel, the Morgan coaster that gives some unexpected airtime with some hard landings back into your seat when you hit the bottom, just like it has in every previous visit. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to recount my previous Great White rides, as the harness apparently wasn't far enough for the system monitoring it to clear, even though I could get the belts buckled. So that was a bit disappointing, but at the same time, I can't really blame them for the weight I've put on since my previous visit. Those who did ride it found that it was still providing some decently intense rides. I will say though that when I couldn't get the lap bar down far enough on Texas Stingray during my first try, that was probably more disappointing, as I'd never had that happen on a GCI. Luckily, as the day went on though, I gave it another shot and was able to get the lap bar down, getting a chance to enjoy this excellent layout that reminds me of the old Custom Coasters International rides of the past, with some nice speed and airtime. After a couple hours in the park, a bunch of us took some time to enjoy a bit of a tailgate in the afternoon. After a while though, it was time for some of the first departures, as several folks made plans to head over to ZDT's to enjoy some rides on Switchback, and others had to return to the airport for a late afternoon or evening flight. I was among those who remained in the park until the end of the day, enjoying more rides between Steel Eel, Texas Stingray, and Wavebreaker. One of the rides that also proved to be a hit among the group was the park's newest addition, their S&S Scream and Swing Tidal Surge. These always provide a nice rush as you go back and forth, but this one had an added thrill if you sit in the seats facing the midway while loading. You'll find yourself facing down to the water behind you on the swing's back. This was an excellent spot for them to place this ride to take advantage of the pond. As the park closed, several of us decided to have one last hurrah by heading down to Riverwalk in downtown San Antonio and enjoy a meal at Cafe Olé, just as we had the day after the first El Stumble, which put us in a celebratory mood.
So I heard someone's birthday over here.
Happy birthday, Larson! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Larson! Happy birthday to you! As with many of these events though, the worst part is having to go back home. Luckily, the flights were a little more evenly split, as I had a brief connection in Denver before heading back to Seattle. Departing from Denver gave the chance to enjoy some gorgeous views of the Rockies, although it eventually led to cloudy weather that kept us from really seeing anything else until just before our approach to SeaTac. And with that landing, I was back home in the Northwest. As has always been the case with Buzz Bars, this was yet another great event that felt a lot like the original Stumble, made even better by getting to Six Flags this time and having that surprise walk back onto the cliff surrounding the park. That was easily one of the coolest experiences for the club to this point, and I really look forward to seeing what comes next for everyone. A huge thank you to the executive group for putting together yet another awesome event, and to my fellow Buzz Bars for helping make this one of the most enjoyable groups to visit theme parks and ride coasters with. As it always happens after one of these events, I definitely look forward to the next time we go stumbling. Thank you for watching this Coastin' with Culture video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button below to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastinwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coastin' with Culture on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.